here. We're at that moment, the week of Christmas. Now, I know the last 3 weeks, well, they've been a bit, well, not as jolly as maybe you and I would have liked. Whether that's because of a global pandemic, or a rough election season, or maybe it's the choice of topics for these Christmas lessons. But we come to today, the day that we have waited for, Christmas Day, and the hope that it brings. Now, Christmas is a story of adoption. Now, most of you know that I was adopted at birth, and recently I've been able to connect with my biological family, and that's been great. I've gotten the opportunity to see an expanded family, meet my siblings and mother and stepfamily. Now, I've also had the privilege of being part of the Hain family, who adopted me, not knowing what they were getting into, for 35 years. And I inherited a great legacy from my grandparents, Lawrence, Jane, John, and Robbie. And it's given me a unique perspective about the Christmas story. You see, Christmas is a time to celebrate family, but it's so much bigger than the family that you were born into, or even in my case, the family I was adopted into. For Christmas is a story about how all of us, through Jesus, can become children of the Creator of the universe. Galatians 4:4-7. When the set time had fully come, God sent His Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those under the law, that we might receive adoption to sonship. Because you are His sons. God sent the Spirit of His Son into our hearts, the Spirit who calls out, Abba, Father. So you are no longer a slave, but God's child. And since you are God's child, God has made you also an heir. Jesus' birth, which we celebrate this week, is also your birthday into the family of God. And children don't just get to live in the house and serve the Father. They receive an inheritance, a part of the vast estate of God. You have a family, even if your earthly family is estranged. Even if yours is great. Even if some, like my grandparents, have gone to be with the one we celebrate on Christmas. Your family is large, and there is always room for more in the house of God. Maybe you would, as a family, say you have deep faith, a strong relationship with Jesus. Or maybe you might, if you're honest, say you're struggling with it. Or maybe even question if you are an heir of God's house at all. Know this, the way of Jesus is not easy. You will become enmeshed in a cosmic story of war. You will come face to face with stories of shame, your own and the world around you. You will be asked to love the orphan, the widow, those fleeing persecution, the lost, and even your own enemies. But you have a family and a home, and the hope of a baby born in a feed trough to a frightened, poor family 2,000 years ago in Bethlehem. But that baby was how God would change the world. The seemingly weak to rule them all, and to allow you and I to be called children of God. Have a Merry Christmas.